is it's never too late to buy in Miami. The only mistake is not to buy. And this is a wonderful graph because it shows the trend. And if we had gone back another 5, 10, 15, 20 years, the trend would have been the same. It always trends up, even in the midst of some real downturns that we know we have, because that's what economists do. But Miami always recovers, always comes back stronger. The biggest difference now is that it's much more stable, because I say that it's like a city, and one of the challenges is people getting priced out. Didn't mean that they stopped loving Miami or Brickell, it just meant that they thought, I can't afford to be there anymore. And in fact, this has created an accessible, wonderful luxury product that allows them to come back here.
Right.
We all know that in today's market, it's virtually impossible to deliver a new product below 1,000 a square foot. If you look at what's in the pipeline for new construction, most projects are starting at $1 million, $2 million, $3 million plus. There's very little coming below $1 million, and then the resale market has just plummeted for various reasons. So anyone looking to buy below this price point is under a tremendous squeeze, which again takes us back to the point that there needs to be some way to address and deliver product within this zone. Right. The GDP of Florida is closing in on 1.5 trillion, and we surpassed Mexico, Indonesia, and Spain, and we're catching up to Italy. Italy's number. What these numbers show me here is that Brickell is at the epicenter of this economic growth. One thing I always say is that looking at numbers by themselves as a snapshot in time doesn't indicate directionality. You have to put it in context. And what's very important to recognize here is that our vacancy numbers are below what they were pre-COVID. We are trending down for vacancy numbers, while what I refer to as our feeder jurisdictions, the states and jurisdictions from which we're attracting wealth and talent, their vacancy numbers are far in excess of what they were pre-COVID. As an example, San Francisco's vacancy number is over 35%, Chicago is 25%, I believe DC is around 17, Manhattan is around 19, and all of those numbers, most importantly, are higher than they were pre-COVID. So they are trending the other way, whereas we're trending down. And this is because one thing I keep saying is that all those places were established pre-internet. COVID broke habits, life, the world is reshaping. If just 10% of people change their behaviors at scale, that is enormous. And we know from all the census data and IRS data that we have that we continue to attract taxpayers. We continue to lead the nation for unemployment, for the formation, the creation of new businesses. We're at the forefront of all of that, and Brickell really is the epicenter. The Brickell market in Q4 of last year was the 4th most expensive office market in the nation.
Well, thank you.
While Miami was always known as the pleasure capital, if you will, because of the sun and the shopping and the fun and all of that, the good news is we've also turned into the business capital, but we're still fun. So our tourist numbers are awesome. And in fact, our hotel occupancy is holding and getting stronger than it was right after COVID. That means that the people who came here fell in love with Miami and are continuing to come back. So, Anna was saying that the airport numbers were...
Yeah, we have record high airport traffic this year. And actually, to the point of that, during COVID, our airport traffic and our residential markets were sort of fed by domestic migration. The international traveler came less during COVID and the aftermath. What we're seeing now again this past year is a surge of the international traveler and buyer coming back, which one would expect, because they always like Miami, they just couldn't come during COVID. So they're gonna be on top of this new domestic demand.
So it only keeps getting better, because all of these feeder markets are growing. It's not just our traditional feeder markets, but more and more it's expanding across the world. And when we looked at the demographics for Domus Flats, we had people from like 40 different countries. It was like a crazy number. So it's not just the local people that are buying, but it's people and our traditional South American buyers, but from across the world. We just had, onesie twosies from all kinds of different places. I think Vietnam was even on that list. So that continues to grow and become more exponential. So,
but of Florida, and that's why these numbers are so good and why it's leading the way. Also, important to point out that we are building for the future here because we are a new city. Places like New York were already largely built out, and if you look at their pipeline, it's very dry. Miami is building, and that's actually a great thing. The timing was very good for us to build for this new post-COVID rally that's emerging, and this product here is a great example of that.
Wait, see what I mean? That's 2 to 5 years.
I think it's going to get more and more pleasant, because I think we still have some pockets. And I've always walked in Miami. People have always thought I'm insane, and yes, mostly in heels. They used to be higher, but they're still heels. And I plan on continuing to do that. But you used to walk, and then all of a sudden you get into this little desert. Those deserts are drying up. and more they're just becoming fantastic places. You just want to stop in every one. That there's not enough time to try all the restaurants and all the bars and see all the stores, and more importantly, just enjoy all the phenomenal people that are coming here. So it's very much evolving, and we're a rich city, and that's a wonderful thing, because wealth attracts wealth. Wealth allows you to create infrastructure. Infrastructure provides a better quality of life. So we're lucky that we're building a new city, that we have old cities that we've learned from, and we can apply those examples and do it better and smarter.